Unit 4, that is acids, bases and salts. Okay, so in this, the first topic we are going to study is the Arrhenius theory of acids, bases and salt. Okay, so I will give a little bit background of Arrhenius. So he's a scientist who first time proposed the concept of acid, bases and salt. So first scientist who proposed concept of acid, base and salt. Okay, the full name of the scientist is Svante Arrhenius. Okay, Svante Arrhenius, and he received Nobel Prize in chemistry in 1903. So what is, according to this theory, okay, or which releases H plus ions in water. Okay, examples are HCl, HBr, HNO₃, all are acid. Now coming to what are bases. So bases are those substances which release OH minus ions to water. Okay, so examples are NaOH, KOH, calcium hydroxide, all are bases. And what is salt? So salts are basically the neutralized product obtained when acid and bases are reacted. Okay, so always remember, when acid and bases are reacted, salts are formed. So for example, if we take an example, so HCl reacts with NaOH, it will give NaCl plus water. Okay, so here if you see, HCl is an acid, NaOH is a base, NaCl will be salt and it is water. So okay, always remember, when acid and bases are reacted, the only product you should search is or expect is salt plus water. Okay, so what is a trick if you don't remember the definition of acid and base during exam? So trick is, I will provide you a trick. So look for H plus. So trick to remember acids are, look for H plus, H in the formula, and look for H in formula, and if formula is starting with H, then it is an acid. So I will explain what is the trick. So if you got a HCl, okay, so look for hydrogen. So there is hydrogen, and do this hydrogen is starting the formula. So yeah, it is in beginning of the formula, so it is an acid. So if you don't, like if you didn't or don't remember the definition of acid, Arrhenius acid, so you can use this trick. So HNO₃, again H is there, it is in the beginning of the formula, so this is an acid. Okay, similarly, what is an base? So trick for base is look for OH in formula and it should be in end. Okay, so for example NaOH, so we can see there is a OH and it is an at end, so it is a base. Okay, second is KOH, there is OH and it is an S end base. Okay, and salts, now coming to the salt part. So what is salt? If the formula doesn't contain H and OH in formula and it is an ionic compound, so so just keep in mind that it is a salt. For example, go for an example like NaCl, so it doesn't contain any H and OH is there, so no, it doesn't contain. First criteria is fulfilled. Is this formula is ionic? So yes, it is an ionic compound, so it is a salt. Similarly, KCl, it doesn't contain H and OH in formula, okay, and it is ionic. So the trick is, if the compound doesn't contain H plus and OH and it is ionic in nature, so it is a salt. Okay, now came 12. Okay, so question was identify acid, bases and salt. Okay, so what are the formula given here? So A KNO3, B HC2 S3O2, C is CH4, D is LiOH, E is H₂SO₃, F is Na2CO3, G is barium hydroxide, or H is SO2. Okay, so we have to identify is this molecule is acid, base or salt. So start with trick. If the compound doesn't contain any H plus and OH minus in the molecule, it is a salt. So here we can see there is no H plus and OH, so it is a salt. Second, H2C, so we are seeing here H in the formula and it is in the beginning of formula, so it is an acid. Here we are seeing a H plus, like H, we will look for H, and is the H is in the beginning of formula? No, so it is not an acid, it is not a base, so none of the above. So it is neither acid nor base, it is a hydrocarbon compound of methane, compound known as methane. So methane is neither acid nor base. Now coming for LiOH, so we are seeing OH and it is at the end of the formula. So trick was, if there is if any substance having OH and the OH is at the end, we will call it as a base. Again, hydrogen is there, it is at the beginning of the formula, carbonic acid, so it is an acid. Na2CO3. So there is no H, no OH, so it is an salt. We are looking here, we have hydroxide OH and it is at the end of the formula, so it is an base. SO2, so it is a covalent compound, there is no H plus, no OH, and it is not an ionic compound, it is a covalent compound, so none of ever work on it, so it is neither acid